Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys I'm going to be profiling for you my burn deck. Now my burn deck is not a chain burn deck, it's more of just an old-fashioned school fun burn deck. So pretty much you just watch your opponent go up in smoke because they either punch themselves in the face when they hit magical cylinders, or it's just a whole bunch of ways that you just slowly burn them for life points here and there. 500 life points there, 800 life points there, 1,000 life points there, and before you know it, they've lost the duel because they've lost so many life points. It's a very fun deck to play. It's not a very aggro deck. It's completely defensive for the most part. I would say maybe 95% of the deck is just defensive. So your opponent's going to have to waste a lot of resources getting to you. They're going to have to go through a lot of hurdles to just get to your life points. And on top of that, a lot of their traps and spells will probably become dead because of the fact that they can't really use them. They can't utilize their traps because you're not summoning big monsters or things of that nature. So it's just a fun deck. It's not super competitive, but it's a take on old school burn, which is not chain burn. So without further ado, let us get started, guys. So first off, we run 3 Solar Flare Dragon. Solar Flare Dragon can create a lock. So if you get 2 Solar Flare Dragons out, you can create a mini lock, so to speak. And that's one of the ways you can burn your opponent. So if anybody remembers the old Marauding Captain lock, where if you have 2 Marauding Captains out in the field, your opponent can't attack either or, the same thing goes for Solar Flare Dragon. If you have 2 Solar Flare Dragon out in the field, your opponent can't attack either or of the Solar Flare Dragon, and at each of the turn, your opponent takes 500 life points per Solar Flare Dragon. So if you have 2 out on the field, your opponent takes 1,000 life points at the end of each of the turns. At the end of your turn. So it's a little way of burning your opponent. Yes, there are easy ways of getting around this lock, but it's a fun lock to play around with and just have some casual fun with in the duel. Next, we play 2 Ufo Turtle. Ufo Turtle's main objective is it's a searcher. So if it's destroyed by battle, you can search a Solar Flare Dragon out and get it on the field and kind of start to create the lock, so to speak. So one good thing to have is if you have a Ufo Turtle and a Solar Flare Dragon in hand, is what you can do is you can set the Ufo Turtle first turn, let it get destroyed, and if they're not going to attack you for the rest of the turn, say, you just special summon the Solar Flare Dragon. But if they're going to attack you again, then you can bring out the other Ufo Turtle, and then let that get destroyed, and then you summon a Solar Flare Dragon out. And after they've ended their turn, you normal summon your own Solar Flare Dragon, and voila, you have created a Solar Flare Dragon lock, like so. You can run 3 Ufo Turtle if you want to, but 2 is perfectly fine, I find. So 2 Ufo Turtles, so you can search out your Solar Flare Dragon to get your Solar Flare Dragon lock set up. Next, we run 3 Nimble Mongolia. Now, the reason why I run Nimble Mongolia is not for the fact that it's a burn card or it burns your opponent, so to speak, but the main fact is I have found on many occasions you want to stall out. You want to let the cards burn your opponent very slowly. You want to have more life points than your opponent. For the fact of the matter is, say, you just need that one turn so you can inflict 1,000, burn damage to your opponent. And that one Nimble Mongolia that got destroyed earlier in the duel gave you that extra 1,000 life points to live long enough for you to burn your opponent. And that's why I run Nimble Mongolia. You can run Gachi in the extra deck if you want to, but it's not really helpful, so to speak, really. Nimble Mongolia is pretty much in there because it can stall out and give you life points, and those life points can help you out to live just long enough for you to burn out your opponent. And I like really 3 of them. Next, we have 3 Mecha Bunny. Mecha Bunny is a very old trollsy card, I guess you could say. I love the fact that it says "Love It" on its forehead on Mecha Bunny, but pretty much Mecha Bunny is very simple. You set it flipped face down. When it's flipped face up, inflict 500 life point damage to your opponent. When it's destroyed, then you can get 1 other Mecha Bunny from your deck and set it face down. So it's just very easy to just set a whole bunch of Mecha Bunnies, and your opponent's just going to have to look at you and go, dang, I have to go through all these Mecha Bunnies and Nimble and Solar Flare Dragons to get to his life points. And it's very annoying. Next we run 2 Marshmallon. Now Marshmallon is just simply in there because he's a stall card. Yes, there are ways nowadays to get around Marshmallon very easily, but that 1000 burn damage, believe me, it comes in handy. So you can easily just set him. Say they blow up your field. Say they go Regeki, for example, and they blow up all these face-down Mecha Bunnies, Mongolias, your Solar Flare Dragons, whatever. They go Regeki, they attack you for maybe a couple of life point damage. Then what you can do is you can just go set Marshmallon. They attack the Marshmallon thinking you're on the defensive now. They inflict 1000 damage. I've had people attack that Marshmallon after they've blown up my field and they lose the game because of that reason. It's very funny to watch when that happens, but he's there because after the field gets blown up, you need some extra stall protection so you can gain enough resources to go on the, just keep stalling, and he's another way to burn your opponent and, protect your life points so you can live long enough. Now, one thing like I described just right now is the fact that people will blow up the field and you're going to have a lot of face set down cards, so your opponent's going to have to go through certain, they're going to summon a lot of monsters, and they're not going to sometimes even want to attack your monsters per se, because of the fact that they know they're going to get hurt or burned if they attack these monsters. Some people will just get so upset that just start attacking, and they'll pay for that. Some people will be more passive and they just won't attack, and you have ways of getting around them and making them still burn. And the cards that can help out with that are things like Volcanic Queen and Lava Golem. You can run 3 Lava Golem, but I like running just 2 of it, and I like running just 2 Volcanic Queen. The nice thing about Volcanic Queen and Lava Golem is many times people will see the one Lava Golem, or they've seen it in the previous duel or something of that nature, and they've seen that one Lava Golem, and they're like, okay, so I don't want Lava Golem to come down on me, so what I'll do is I'll just summon 1 monster on the field. And they'll try to be smart about it, and that's when you can drop Volcanic Queen on them, and they still got to deal with that burn damage. We're sacrificing, we're doing something. So that's why I like just 2 Lava Golem and 2 Volcanic Queen. If you play more than that, I find it gets a little bit cloggy. Next comes the best spell card I would have to say in the entire deck, and that is a very old card, Poison of the Old Man. It's a quick play spell, which makes it extra good. It's really nice because this card has saved me from losing a duel and has caused me to win a duel as well. So Poison of the Old Man is very nice because you can either activate one of its 2 effects. You can activate its first effect that says you gain 1000 life points, or you can activate the second effect that says your opponent loses 800 life points. So it's an either or thing, so it's very good. If you're about to lose the duel, activate it. You gain 1000 life points. If you're about to win the duel, activate that 800 burn damage. So it's very nice. And I've always said that Poison of the Old Man is Gaga Gaga Cowboy before there was a Gaga Gaga Cowboy, because it has the 800 burn damage. Next, we have 3 Pot of Dualities. Pot of Duality is your way of thinning your deck out and getting the combo pieces and the things you need when you need them. Because you don't want to run things like Reckless Greed, because you do run a lot of traps. You don't want to run things like Upstart Goblin, because that defeats the purpose of burning your opponent out. So Pot of Duality fits perfectly because you don't really special summon. You special summon maybe once in a while, but you don't special summon a lot. So just 3 Pot of Duality. It works well. You look through your deck, you get the combo pieces you need, you set up. You may get that Lava Golem and then tribute the 2 monsters your opponent has and drop a Lava Golem on them and just continue to wreak havoc on them. I do run 1 Shard of Greed as just an extra little tech. It will sometimes draw out MST. It's an MST bait as well. If you get it to go off, great. If not, it's MST bait, and it causes them not to hit your trap cards, but just to hit a face-up spell card. That is just a little bit of a gamble or a gambit, I guess you could say. Next, I run 2 Level Limit B. Now, this is a fun little card that I have found recently is actually getting a little bit better as time has gone on. When Synchros came out, this card was still powerful. When Exceeds came out, this card became less powerful. But now that we have pendulum monsters and quillipults, I have found that this card has actually gotten, honestly, a little bit better for the fact that it just puts all your opponent's quillipult monsters into defensive mode. So maybe as a side deck card, if you are playing more of an Exceed deck and your opponent's playing more of a pendulum deck, this card may be good. Yes, your opponent can XYZ to get around it, but it's pretty decent. And the main reason why you play Limit FOB is for the fact that it does stall your opponent out for the most part. Yes, they can Exceed summon, but you know, that's one way of getting around it. But the main thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that they're not hitting you with your Lava Golems and your Volcanic Queens. So the really nice thing you can do is you can give them a Lava Golem. So say I say, here, tribute 2 of your monsters, have a Lava Golem. Activate Limit Level B. That Lava Golem goes in defensive mode. It's not going to hurt me now. And then activate a trap card like Nightmare Wheel or Mask of the Accursed. And what you can do then is you can just say, okay, each of your turns you're inflicting upon them 1,500 burn damage. That may not seem like a lot at first, but it adds up very quickly when they can't use that Lava Golem, you know, to Exceed with or to attack with. It's just sitting there on their field and burn, burn, burn. And with all the other little burn damage here and there, it adds up very quickly. Next we run 2 Swords of Revealing Light. Some people like running Threatening Roar, but again, I don't want them to hit the trap cards. I want them to have to pick and choose what they want to. And sometimes, after playing this deck in a while, maybe a person will understand what cards are the more key cards and what some of the cards are bait cards to bait your opponent to say, here, you know, hit this card, don't hit that card. Because, you know, you can deal with that down the road. So, Sword of Revealing Light, if it gets, you know, you can get it off, it can bide you time, it causes them to just have maybe a Lava Golem or a Volcanic Queen and just over there sitting on their field, and they can't Exceed, they can't synchro with it, they can't do anything with it maybe, and it's just sitting there burning their life points. And you know, that Swords of Revealing Light is just protecting you. So I like it as a 2 of. You don't have to run it, but it does come in handy, I would say. Next we have 2 Master of the Accursed. Master of the Accursed, you usually attach it to an opponent's big monster. More specifically, you attach it to usually Lava Golem or Volcanic Queen. So you can give them a Lava Golem, put a Master of the Accursed on it or Nightmare Wheel on it. They can't attack with it, and it's just sitting there burning their life points away. You may not think that it's a lot, but it adds up very quickly if they don't have no way out of it. Then we run 1 Soul Charge. Yes, this does inflict, you know, you have ways of gaining life points back with Nimble Mongolia and Poison of the Old Man, but you also run this because then you can go into your Exceeds a little bit easier, things like Gaga Cowboy or Heartland Drago. So that's why you run that. Plus you can bring back your Solar Flare Dragon Lock and just burn your opponent that way. You know, it causes another roadblock. And you don't have to worry about not entering your battle phase because you really never go into your battle phase with this card. Or in this deck at all. You never, you know, attack with your monsters a lot. Next we run 2 Nightmare Wheel. We're on to the traps now. Like I said, the same thing for Master of the Accused. You most likely want to attach this to a Lava Golem or a Volcanic Queen. And same thing goes for the, you know, the Master of the Accused. The monster still gets its effect, but you usually don't care about that. I mean, you want to keep your Lava Golem to have its effect of burning your opponent, and this just adds insult to injury because they can't attack with it, and it's still burning, sitting there burning their life points. So I like it as a 2 of in the deck. You can attach it to other monsters if you know, if they bring another big beat stick out, you can just attach it to it and they can't attack with it, and it just sits there burning them, especially if it's an Exceed monster. Next we run 3 Magical Cylinder. The reason why I run 3 Magical Cylinder is I know people are going to say, oh my gosh, you run 3 Magical Cylinder. I mean, I remember when this card originally went to 3 and people were like, oh, nobody's going to run 3 Magical Cylinder. But it's so fun to run in this deck, and it would feel so wrong if you didn't run Magical Cylinder in this deck because it is an old school-esque burn deck. And so I've had so many times where somebody's gone, I'm going to attack with this monster, and they run into a Magical Cylinders. Or, you know, they attack with the Lava Golem and it punches them in the face. I can't tell you how many times this card has won me duels. so many times. And after your opponent, a lot of people don't know what old school players, when they see that one magical cylinder, they're afraid there are more magical cylinders now that it's a card at 3. So I've seen people just not attack, period, because they're scared to run into multiple magical cylinders. So it's a nice little card. Then we run 3 Secret Barrel. The reason I run 3 Secret Barrel in the deck is because of the fact that this deck stalls out, and yes, this is a chain burn-esque card, and yes, your opponent, if you're going first, or your opponent's going first, if your opponent went first, you know, they're only going to have 5 cards in hand. But the nice thing is, for the fact that this card's still good, because the duel, when you play with this deck, the duels go on very, very long. It's not just a quick 3-minute duel or a 5-minute duel. Usually the duels last 5 to 6 turns, maybe 10 turns. I've had duels with this deck that last 18 turns. So it can last for quite a while, and your opponent's going to accumulate hand advantage because of that, because they don't want to summon cards, because they're afraid you're going to tribute it off for, you know, Lava Golem or Volcanic Queen. So you just can use these Secret Barrels and just inflict their hand, you know, burn their hand. Just for having cards in hand, you can burn them that way. So that's why I like 3 Secret Barrel. And the last card I run is one called the Haunted, because you can bring back Solar Flare Dragon, Marshmallons for stalling purposes. Heck, I've even brought back a Lava Golem one time because my opponent had no back row and I just attacked with it for game. So that's why I run one called the Haunted. Just a little versatile card you can use. And for the extra deck, you only need to run 2 cards, Gaga Cowboy and Heartland Drago. You can run more Cowboys if you want to, but I never seem to go for more than 1 per duel. And Heartland Drago is just nice to have in case, you know, that situation arises. You have limit level B out, and you have 2 level 4s on the field after you go a Soul Charge, and you know they can't attack it, and then you can just wait till next turn after the soul, you know, because you can't attack with Soul Charge, and then you can attack with your Heartland Drago. So it's a little nice thing you can do for some setup plays. I mean, I have sometimes just gone, you know, special summon 4 level monsters back, Gaga Cowboy, Heartland Drago, had limit level B out in the back row, in my trap zone and magic zone, detached with Cowboy, Pow Pow, waited to next turn, they couldn't do anything, detached Cowboy, Pow Pow, attack with Heartland Drago for game. So there's little combo plays you can do. You can run multiple Cowboy if you want to, but I find that it's just good as 1 Cowboy, 1 Heartland Drago. You don't really use your extra deck except for burn-esque cards like these 2. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed this burn deck profile. I'm sorry this deck profile was so long, but this is just a fun old school type burn deck. It's not super competitive. You will have some nostalgia. It is somewhat of a troll deck, I will admit to that, but it's just a fun troll deck, and it's just a fun deck to play because it actually can win against a lot of competitive decks, because you really don't do nothing offensively. It's not main meta, and it does have that element of surprise to some extent. So it's really fun to play around with. But till next time, guys, take care. Have fun dueling. Good luck dueling. And I'll see all of you guys next time. Seto Kaba, I'm out of you guys till next time. And good luck dueling to everyone out there.